Dobra. Okay. So welcome everyone to the masterclass about your full-time career as a travel journalist. So today we will talk about how to make a living. And I'm here with Veronica today. We're with a small group. So Veronica, if you have any questions, feel free to use your microphone. And we'll do some assignment later as well. So I will go a bit further. So first I will explain a little bit to you, Veronica, but also to everyone that's watching the recording. So we will discuss today a bit how can you become a travel journalist, step by step, how can you make a full-time income with it? Because sometimes people think oh yeah, with travel journalism, it's difficult to get a job or to find work and pitch your stories. But I would say it's actually not true, because many media, many travel journalists proved it wrong. There are many journalists that live from a full-time income. They built a house, they of course support their families, and they travel basically around the globe, and many medias have millions of euros of revenue. So I would say today it's a golden age of basically media, because everyone is actually attached to their phone, right? And everyone takes pictures, and everyone's on the laptop basically. So I would say it's a very good time to basically be a storyteller, be a travel journalist. And I would also say that the content creation, because many people started a bit, I would say newbies, and the content creation journey moves a little bit more into travel journalists. So people want to make more professional content and also more ethical content as well. So yeah, today we discuss how to pitch to travel magazines, but also tourist companies, so you can find as fast as possible a full-time job or freelance projects or start your own business. So we discuss here where to find those jobs. We do a challenge, so you can make a pitch, so you can send it out already. We will talk about your personal brand. How can you make a signature in the digital world as a personal brand, so people really feel okay, they want to work with you, that you are unique from the concurrence, from the competition. And so we will talk about your offer. What can you offer? Maybe writing travel articles. Maybe you can write travel guides, SEO blog posts, edit videos, website design. There are many different things that you can do. I see someone new joined. We are just getting started. We had some delay today. Can you hear me? I'm not sure who joined.
Yeah, hello. This is Baha just joined. Thank you.
Oh, perfect, perfect. So I see you managed to find the Zoom link, because I just sent it to you.
Yeah,
That's
thank
great.
you so much.
Welcome. We
Well,
are today with a small group, and I was just discussing a little bit what we will do today. We will basically focus how you can make a full-time career of travel journalists, to have a full-time income. So that was a bit what we talked about. And yeah, would you like maybe to tell something about yourself? So you can introduce yourself. Can you hear me? I think you need to unmute the microphone.
yeah. Are you asking me or the other participant?
Yes, Baha. Yeah, I was asking you if you could just short tell a bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Yeah. So good evening to you and the rest of the group. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Regarding the tourism, I would like to say I have been actively dealing with tourism as a tour guide for almost 18 years, just up to the Corona. And then I moved to Netherlands. I've been here for almost now. This is the 5th year I'm in Netherlands. And also I had some publication in tourism. That's all about my background.
That's awesome. And where are you from, actually?
Originally, I'm from Iran, but I'm living with my family here in Netherlands.
Okay, for 5 years already.
Yes.
Okay, now you like it, the Netherlands?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's
because
great.
I also came here to study. I also studied at the Leiden University. I'm a graduate from Leiden University as well.
Awesome.
But
Yeah, I
tourism,
remember when I talked
yes,
with you that because I left there some flyers, so that's how we
yes,
found out.
yes, yes.
That's good. That's nice.
It's been a great honor to be with you and the rest of the colleagues and the team.
Yeah, likewise, likewise.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for
Thank
joining.
you.
I'm
My
very
pleasure.
happy about it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And Veronica, could you maybe tell a little bit about yourself, just to introduce, like?
Yes, good evening. Nice to meet you. I also dealing with the travel industry, and I passed my way from a local tour guide in Moscow to a tour organizer for the foreign people who visit Russia. Nice to meet you. I'm very happy that I met my colleague in these studies.
Thank you very much for introducing yourself. And I can imagine you have both a lot of experience with tourism, with guiding people, so you can exchange for sure like many valuable information with each other. And that's why it's also like we have the Travel Media Academy platform, so you can also even chat with each other. So especially if you have also like cool work that you want to publish, questions, just use the platform. Feel like it's like your WhatsApp, let's say, right? That you can just chat there with each other in private conversations, but also in public if you have anything that you want to post, like something cool, your own publication, or just maybe an interesting job that you want to share. So just feel totally free with that, just to share it with others. And yeah, I'll move a bit further. So about pitching, right? I can imagine it can be sometimes maybe a bit scary. It can be sometimes maybe a bit difficult. Like, yeah, where should you pitch your story? Because there's so much out there, especially if you look at the world map. I mean, you can imagine there are like thousands of different like magazines, and there are like hundred thousands of businesses and media, right, around the world. And as well as many travel journalists and many tourist experts also, right? So there is actually a lot out there, right? And basically what I always say, it's important to zoom in a little bit and to think like, okay, where do I want to focus on? Do I focus on, for example, on travel blogging for maybe like luxury hotels or eco lodges, or do I help tour guides with social media to attract clients for like the city tours, right? So there are many different ways basically to build like a business from travel journalism. And it's not only writing articles, it can be editing videos, it can be even website design or providing photography services for like events, for tourism events. So there's a lot out there. And I will also later share a bit a list with some ideas that you can use. And yeah, I would say it's good to basically make for yourself also that kind of map, like where do you want to focus on? For example, I first focused on basically the whole world. So I was traveling a lot in Southeast Asia, a little bit in the Middle East, Europe, US, and Latin America and Central America as well. So eventually I decided to focus a bit more on the topic of travel journalists, travel blogging, and to zoom in more on the country of Peru, to basically be more specialized in that region. So I always recommend that nowadays with the competition, it's good to specialize in a certain niche and also like in a certain geographic location. You can always expand. So an example can be, for example, writing travel blog posts about like the city of Amsterdam, or even choosing one neighborhood that you write about it and then collaborating with local businesses, for example. But it can be also like a niche topic, for example, that you write about. I love, for example, surfing, and then you can write about surfing, but there's also a lot of competition. So maybe you could write about kiteboarding, for example. That's a bit less common maybe, or like how to repair surfboards or best destinations for surfing, right? Then you zoom in a little bit into a certain niche. Then you can go more global in that situation. So that's a bit, yeah, where do you pitch? So it's always good to think about like where are all those businesses set up. You can use Google Maps actually. With Google Maps, you can even type in your area like hostels, for example. Then you see like all the hostels in your area. You can basically visit their websites, copy the email addresses, find the decision makers, the people in charge, and send them out pitches, right? And to be honest, the easiest way to find your first collaboration is basically staying somewhere for 4 nights and writing an article, for example, or making like a video for them. Like last time that I had a collab was in Peru, and I got like 10 days of like free accommodation in a private room hotel in the center of, actually in Miraflores, was kind of like a very metropolitan like a neighborhood of Lima, very cool, safe. And I could stay there 10 days for just writing no, actually two travel blog posts about Peru. So that's quite nice. I mean, like 10 days, it's quite a lot, actually. Usually people start with 1 or 2 days that they can stay, sometimes in luxury hotels as well. So that's about what you can do with pitching. And I wanted to share with you, like pitching to travel magazines. That's maybe the first thing you think about travel journalists, like newspapers, travel magazines, online websites, right? It's also television, radio, right? So there's a lot out there. But let's start with travel magazines. You can I also posted in the portals. You can check out a bit like the top 10 that are quite popular, that hire also like writers and travel journalists. So a big one is of course National Geographic, but also there are like some online magazines like Metador Network. They post online content. World Nomads, Afar magazine you have, Condé Nast Traveler, Outside magazine, and believe me, there are like thousands of other magazines, and you can definitely reach out also first the smaller ones, and that's usually easier to get published. But here on those websites, you can just check if there are like some job positions open, because they pay quite well because they are a bit bigger magazines. And before you pitch, there are a couple things that are very important. So first, read their guidelines. Like maybe they look only for travel journalists that work 10 years in the field, maybe from a specific region. So I always read like what their guideline is, how to pitch it, how you craft the pitch. Like yeah, some magazines are very strict with that, how many words you write and stuff like that, which format you send pictures. Then the second one, actually, I joined like a National Geographic event from US couple days ago, and I was able to get information about how to pitch to National Geographic US, because National Geographic has different headquarters in different countries. So basically, they said the most important thing to connect with the editor and to pitch to them is building a relationship. That means like if you catch their attention, maybe on LinkedIn, for example, then you can invite them for a virtual cup of coffee of like 20 minutes so you can talk about your idea. Or during networking events, you can talk with them and maybe drink a coffee, and they will see a face in front of them. They will know like, oh, this is Igor, and Igor writes about Peru as a destination, and he has an academy for travel journalists. So then it will be easier for them to figure out, okay, who is that person, right? So that's actually feedback from like 2 editors from National Geographic. I see Memory also like joined. Welcome, welcome. So I was just talking a little bit about how to pitch to travel magazines. So yeah, like further, it's important to show your professionalism. So try to niche down into like a specific area. Do you focus more on blogging, on video, maybe interviews, audio podcasts, right? So it's important that you define your niche and try to be up to date with your stories and authentic. So those are a bit the 4 tips to pitching to magazines. And yeah, I wanted to show you like some examples. Like some examples are from me actually, how I pitched and how I got published. So you can also like copy my experience and try it yourself as well. So one publication I had in Columbus Travel Magazine, and that was like a story about the high altitude sickness. So that means like what you can do to deal with high altitude sickness and how you experience it as a traveler. So they published a story online, because a lot of magazines, they have two different, sometimes even editors, one for the online, that means the website where they put the blog posts, interviews, stories. They even have sometimes a channel on YouTube, Instagram, right? So then we have social media. So it's like one website, you can pitch there to share your story there on the website. So this was on the website. You can do it on social media by sharing a picture that they will feature it on their social media channel. And the third one, the coolest one, in my opinion, that's actually like printed media, because yeah, you can touch it, right? So imagine you had that situation. I went to the bookstore, to the train station, to the airport even when I was flying, and I saw just like my picture in the travel magazine that was like distributed in different areas in the Netherlands. You can see here the picture with the sandboard in my hand in Huacachina, Peru. And yeah, that's very cool. If you manage that as a travel journalist, then you feel like, wow, nice, it's very cool, I got published, right? But still, like if you get published on online media, like on a website, that's of course also very valuable, especially if you do it for like big websites. But at the beginning, I would recommend just to start out with your own blog, your own social media channels. And even if you publish something, you will see that there are like sometimes hundreds of people watching you, even maybe thousands of people. And try to think about like how many people look into the magazine, right? And online, I would say there's even a bigger exposure. So that's also very cool to get started. And also, I want to share with you that sometimes even like with writing your own travel blog post, you can even earn more money sometimes than even getting published in printed media. I mean, it's nice for your prestige. You feel very cool about it, that you managed to get published in National Geographic or in Runners magazine or Young, for example, right? Or Vogue. But on the other side, like with travel blogging or like some other media, you can even sometimes earn more, right? Because then you are more the owner of the content and the medium. So here you can see another example. Like I would say it's one of the easiest way to get published is writing a guest blog post. So basically, if you want, you can also reach out to me. I have like two websites, one Peru tours. I write about Peru as destination. So I write, it can be an interview, it can be a news article that something happened, a blog post to feature like a destination, maybe a guide, the best restaurants, for example, in Lima. Other website that I have is about, in general, different destinations around the world and travel journalist, travel blogging in general. And here you can see an example. I pitched, for example, like a guest blog post to Salty Beach Pumps. And she published my story about me as a digital nomad, like working remotely from different destinations around the globe. So that's actually a very cool way if you want to get, it's also called PR. Some of you know it maybe from tourist industry, to basically get media exposure for your own business or your own website as a travel journalist, right? So especially if you write a guest blog post in an interview format, so you let someone interview you, like another blogger, you can also do it to each other, right? So for example, memory, you can like interview like Veronica, for example, right? About her life in Russia, for example, right? You can ask her questions and vice versa, and that helps you to link between each other. So the Google algorithms will put your website all the time a bit higher. So that's actually how big companies do that, sometimes with thousands of different like PR articles. And yeah, the same, we as travel journalists, we also want to be on the first page of Google, right? Because that means like more, basically more eyeballs, right, on your story. Because you can have a very good story, but if you don't put it in front of the people, it will be very difficult to find it. So that's a great way. So make use of it, of our platform, and share your content ask other people if you can interview them, or if they want to interview you, if you have a nice story. So it's very helpful. So that's about guest blog posts. You can interview someone, you can get interviewed, or you can just write a story. It can be a personal story, can be information, a reportage, just some pictures or a video. So you're totally free how you want to do it. And the last way, imagine if you connect with people, 10, 20, 50 people, everyone says no, maybe because you don't have a portfolio, then I just recommend just publish the work on your own social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, even TikTok, and especially like a blog on WordPress, for example, on your own website. And with that, actually, you can also monetize very fast because, for example, I got a collaboration with the Amazon Lodge in Peru. They let me go there. I got like tours. I could see like dolphins, crocodiles, swim in the river, eat delicious like Amazon food, stay in their eco lodge. And I just needed to write like one article for them just to feature their destination. So that's like an example of a collaboration. You don't need to have a big following. Even if you have a small following or just a website, you can get started with that. I would say that's the easiest way, is like collaborations to get started, or just writing your article and then later collaborating with companies. And if you want to let them pay you, you can say, for example, that they can advertise in your text and they can pay you like 50, €100 for like putting a link to their website, for example. So I don't have here an example, but on my other website, you have like an article about sandboarding in Huacachinas. I got it published in the magazine, but I also like put some links from like a tour company in Peru that I recommend their tours, because I saw they had very cool tours and I was there also in Huacachina. So basically they paid me to recommend them and to put them like that people can choose like from them and some other people. So that's a good way also to monetize your travel blog. And yeah, there are like many ways, and especially writing for other companies. So you don't even need a big following. So that's very important to know. Even if you have 0 followers, you can already start like pitching and writing for other magazines. So don't worry about that. So that's about pitching. If you find the magazine that you are like in love with, right? For me, is that National Geographic, for example. I grew up with those magazines like next to my bed when I was young. I love those adventures of like people going and exploring countries, like seeing whales and seeing like wild animals, other cultures, right? So it's always inspired. And if you want to pitch to a big magazine, right, then you need to do a little bit of investigative journalism, right? That means you need to know, yeah, who's the decision maker? Is it the intern? Is it the website designer? Is it the editorial team? Is it like the head editor manager, right? So you need to know a little bit, okay, who works there? What are those positions of the people that you can reach out to? Maybe director doesn't respond to pitches, but more like the final editor, for example. So you need to figure it out a bit. Great place is LinkedIn. Just check out the conversations, check out who those people are. And what you can do is, if you're very dedicated, so that means you want to get published at, let's say, National Geographic, or you want to write some articles for, let's say, the space industry, you know, like some big industries that are quite, yeah, huge and many people pitch to, then it's good to make an organogram and you know just, yeah, what those people do, who they are. You spy a little bit on them, right, to understand what they need actually, how you can offer something to them. So that's an example how I made like an organogram from like National Geographic, from like freelancers that work there to the director. And so that's the way to find the right decision maker, their contacts, and to build slowly like a relationship by attending courses, events, liking their, for example, posted content on LinkedIn and reaching out to them. Myself, I reached out to some head directors like from National Geographic, like in Netherlands and Poland. And LinkedIn, I would say personally from my own experience, is the best way to go. But you can use Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok sometimes, email, or just even call, but people don't like that much if you call them, only if you have already a relationship built with them. So that's about pitching to travel magazines. If you look more for like a full-time job, right, for like a tourist company, then you can also, of course, pitch to tourist companies. And I have here also like a list of like job platforms. You can find in general different jobs there, but if you type in travel journalism in the search engine, blogging, PR, content marketing, video, photography, you can find a lot of jobs in the tourism and travel industry that you can do as a travel journalist. And some jobs can even pay like 3,000 euros per month, like 2,000 euros per month, sometimes 5,000, depends on the position, location. You can sometimes even change the flag, like above, or like the location. So you can find jobs in the US, for example, like England, Australia, like Saudi Arabia, for example, a bit more high-paying countries, even if you live, for example, in a country where the salaries are a bit lower. So that's a bit like a digital nomad trick that I call that. So that's good to know. And I wanted to show you a little bit, like, imagine you find like a tourist company, right? And just to make it simple, I have a company and I offer like story hunting tours, right? To help people learn photography, like outdoor, like to Peru. I hope you can join me as well, like the next summer. And basically, imagine you have that company like mine, and you want to pitch there, right? You want to provide some value. So then you can check their website, right? You can see like, okay, they don't have any job offer, because first you always look if they look for some people. That's always easier because they look already for like an SEO expert, content marketing manager, right? Then you can pitch directly to them, like not pitch, but like send your CV and motivation letter. So like a job application, we call it. However, there are also companies that don't have that. So there you can pitch your offer, right? So it can be freelance services or just full-time employment. So what you can do is you can check the website, and some websites don't have the blog section. And then you know it, nice. That means I can just offer them to provide like blog posts for the website so they can be more visible on Google, also called SEO, search engine optimization. And sounds very like complicated, but believe me, it's not that complicated. It's basically like writing engaging articles that help the company be positioned higher on Google. And it's helpful if it's a very cool, nice article, so people click more on it. And you can use some keywords. You can repeat some keywords so the Google algorithm will know, like, okay, like you are writing about a specific topic. And so that's one way. Other way, you can also optimize it for the AI engines, for ChatGPT, for example. So that's kind of a trendy way now to like offer like services. So if you want to start with that, you'll be one also of the first ones to go with this basically trend. But yeah, many people also start with that. So it's basically switching from SEO to AI optimization, but I would say it's almost like the same. The only difference is, the only big difference, because there are more, of course, is that you, for the AI engines, you write more like answer, like question answer. So before, if it was more like long titles, now it's more like, what are the best restaurants in Lima, Peru, for example, right? Instead of like Bohemian restaurants in Miraflores, for example. So it's more like question answer. So that's more for AI. For SEO, it was a bit different. But yeah, you can always like read more about it, because it's changing all the time, also the industry. Other way what you can offer to those websites is translation. That means you can translate from like English to Russian, for example, right? You can also like offer sales copy. That means like copywriting. So you help to write the content on the website that's like attractive for the client. So more people will like click to buy like a tour, for example. So that's also like what travel journalists can do. That's more a bit marketing experts, but if you focus on the travel and tourist industry as a journalist, you can do it as well. You can provide PR articles. You help, for example, my company Peru Tours to get featured like in websites of Peruvian restaurants in Netherlands, or like maybe like some tourism boards, or other like magazines that feature like Peru as a destination. So that's more like PR, public relations. There are like a lot of different ways you can provide videos, interviews, right, on the website. So if you have a good offer and the website is interested, the company is interested, then you can find a very nice full-time project that you can get paid, like, for example, 2,000, 3,000 euros per month stable. So I think that's always the best way for travel journalists. And like further, another way to find projects is basically networking. It's a bit of old school way, right? Before the online media, everything was more printed, right? Traditional. And a good way is basically to go to those events or reach out to other travel journalists and just meet up for coffee with one person, right? Maybe you can interview a travel journalist that's established already. I think that's a great way. You should definitely do that. It's a great way to start your first interview, and that's with a travel journalist or with a tourist company. I did it personally as well. When I started with travel blog, I interviewed some tourist companies and a travel journalist at my school. And here you can see a bit like, the events like TBEX. It's like a big travel block exchange event, and there are many out there, like for tourism, for digital nomads, startups, like travelers, backpackers, travel bloggers, influencers, travel journalists, PR experts. So there's a lot of out there. Also like courses from like National Geographic or other media. I personally attended many of them and got like access to like the decision makers. So here you can see a bit who you can meet on those events. And as you can imagine, you start first solo as a travel journalist, right? You are like alone, maybe in the industry, right? Maybe if you're already a tourist expert, maybe you have already some connections. It's very helpful. And from now, right? If you're solo, you start to build your network. Maybe you could connect with one travel YouTuber or travel journalist, and you are not alone anymore. You are together. And maybe you go together for like a story to interview like a local chef about how to make the Peruvian ceviche. Then you are suddenly like not two, but with three people. You have already a connection with a local business, right? So you can make a story, you can pitch something to them, right? So that's how you slowly start to practice travel journalists, right? And other thing what you can do is you can go on meetups or organize your own meetup. I did this meetup for travel bloggers in Lima, Peru. And hopefully you will join me also like in the summer, like for the Peru expedition. So we can also do those workshops about travel writing, immersive storytelling, and degustation also of Peruvian food and meeting the local culture. So that's a bit like the goal with that. But also if you want, you can also start it in your own country, that kind of meetups, right? For your own niche. Or you can give presentations, master classes, right? Like today it's also like example of a master class. I did it physical, but you can do it online if you want to reach more people, like a global audience. And so you can also attend it, right? First. So that's a great way to meet also fellow journalists and tourist companies. And especially events, so like courses like National Geographic, for example. So it's a great way to even ask questions directly to the decision makers. So that's what I did. I suddenly could talk with editors from National Geographic in Amsterdam, because we were in their headquarters of National Geographic. So that was very cool. And during events, sometimes you can meet like 50 different like owners of companies. So that's very valuable. There will be soon like far travel events in The Hague, actually, like in October. So I'm also going there just for like networking. And hopefully, if you network a lot, you're able to connect with many people, then you can go on a press trip, you can go on a project, right? Or even together travel as travel journalists. So then you can get rewarded, right? And land maybe a job at their company or media. So that's a very rewarding journey if you attend the events. And sometimes you just maybe go to an event and you feel like, oh, I didn't meet anyone, everyone was busy, or it was just not a good timing, and that's totally fine. It also happens as well, right? Okay, so before we go further, oh, I see like some questions. Oh, I see a question. Digital nomad, what does it mean? And good evening, Memory. I didn't say it. So like how much, oh yeah, another question. So I will start with digital nomad question. So what is a digital nomad? So a digital nomad is a person that works remotely, right? So basically you can say it's a person that works remotely. That's usually how people see it nowadays. However, a deeper root of digital nomad is it's actually decentralization. So that means that people started to feel like they don't want to be bonded by one government. They feel like they want to travel to like other place when they feel, for example, bad in their own country. They feel like, oh, it's expensive. Okay, then I go from Netherlands to, let's say, Sri Lanka, for example, and I feel there it's more affordable, so I can live there, but still I have my income from the Netherlands. So it can be a remote job, like online job, or it can be freelance projects, for example, right? Or like some investments, like especially the people that are retired, maybe they have some stocks, investments, and stuff like that. So that's also possible. So that's how it was born. And especially now, a lot of people, even a lot of young people that just start their study, they start to feel like, hey, I can also work on my laptop from where I want to, right? And then they decide to move to another country with their laptop and work remotely. So that's basically digital nomadism. But the deep root of it, it's basically decentralization. But nowadays, yeah, even remote workers, people that just work for a company remotely, they also call it like digital nomads. Another question, how much travel journalists can earn money per month? So that's a question that's like, you can't say one answer to that. Like many different journalists earn also very different income. It depends of your geographical location, of your currency. It depends if you work for the tourist industry, for travel media, if you have your own media, if you do photography, video editing, or video shooting, or presentation for television, or reporting. So it really depends. So it can be like sometimes a couple €100 per month if you just do like some collabs with hotels and small paid work, or it can be even like some bigger projects that you can earn like 2, 3, 4,000 euro per month, or even more if you are a very good established journalist that's very, let's say, famous in the media. So it really depends. And yeah, before we go further, I want to give you a challenge so you can hopefully use it as fast as possible. And that's a challenge to write your own pitch. So pitch means just also like when we did with the lead assignment, just 3 to 5 sentences. You can make it later also longer. So basically try to write to like a magazine or a tourist company what you want to offer them. So for example, like, hey, my name is Igor. I'm a travel journalist published by Columbus Magazine and certified to National Geographic. I go to Morocco for like a travel, and I want to write a story about the woman in Morocco that do surfing in a little town. And they try to find empowerment by doing surfing, for example. So then I try, to pitch it to National Geographic to basically go there, right? And be able to make some interviews with the local woman that practice surfing. That's in general like more like a macho, more a male sport, right, from the past. But now also a lot of women do also surfing around the globe, right? So that's an interesting story, for example, especially in countries where it's not that common, right? So that's like an example. Other thing, it can be like, hey, I saw your website, you don't have a blog. I'm an SEO expert and travel journalist. I would love to write a sample blog for your website to see if you like it. And hopefully I can provide you every month for a blog post. This is like my fee. Let's talk about it during a coffee meetup, for example, right? So those are like examples of pitches. So I give you now like, yeah, like let's say 9 minutes, okay, to write a small pitch in the chat box. Can be 3 sentences, can be 5 sentences. You are totally free to do it your way, and later you can expand it a little bit. And it's very important because later we will add also like a portfolio to it, and we work a bit further on it. So please write it in the chat box, okay? And I will give you some feedback. So I give you like around 10 minutes to write it. All right, so let's do a small break for the ones that watch now the recording. And if you struggle with something, let me know, okay? I will be still here to answer your questions. Actually, I would say pitching is the most important thing in travel journalism, because that's how you can get the projects. So turn off now my video and mic so you can totally focus on your pitch. But if you have questions, please type it in the chat box. All right, the end of the coffee break. So I see already two beautiful pictures. And we'll start with, oh, I see here also a format, I think. I think Baha sent it in, yeah, I can see it also in like a document. Awesome. So, okay, I'll start above. So we have from memory, their editorial team. So well done. You should put like a comma behind the editorial like team and then comma. And also like I also wrote it in general, but you can also sometimes, if you find the right decision maker, it's always better to put their name, because if you put the name, it sounds more personal. You build a relationship, right, with the person. Because if you say like, hey, they're National Geographic, or their editorial team from National Geographic, what I also did, it's a bit less personal. So I always recommend to find the right decision maker. But it's good, it's all right. My name is Memory and I'm a travel influencer. As a freelancer, I write for the Queensville Report. Perfect. So you say who you are, right? So you say you're a travel influencer. People have already an image of like, okay, so you travel, you try to influence your audience, you show beautiful places or local culture. Oh, you're also like a freelancer, so that means also like a professional that does freelance work, and you write for Queens the Reaper, so they know already you have experience, right, with writing. So you have credibility. Well done. I hope you'll be interested by an interview on water purification or local dam. So yeah, you can, for example, ask them to do like an interview for them, right? Or to interview someone else but publish the interview on their platform, right? So that's also possible. And this, for example, about the purification or local dam, it can be even something nice for like a travel magazine, but also like a local newspaper. It can be a cool article for a non-profit organization. So you have many ways, and sometimes if you have one page and you see it works well, you can also send it to other publications, but in a different format, a bit a different story. So one can be an interview, other one a travel reportage, for other one you can do a podcast interview, so that's also totally fine. Only be careful here, you wrote interested, so it's with the E behind interested. So sometimes if you make like grammar mistakes or orthographic mistakes, what I also do many times with English, it's totally normal. It's also good to like or have someone that reads your content, because the best media also have like editorial team, final redaction, when they basically read your content on mistakes or typos, right, or to correct the image. So it's very normal. So it's always good to have someone that has your back, right, that they can read your text, give you feedback, and also correct it, because it's normal that everyone sometimes misses something out. Other way, what you can do at the moment, if you don't have a big team, right, of people, then you can use ChatGPT, not to write the whole story for you, but you can use it for like pre-trip research, for making a content calendar, getting new ideas. You can get feedback from ChatGPT. For example, you can ask a prompt like, hey, you are a famous travel journalist, what feedback would you give me? And of course, it can also correct your mistakes as well. So that's a good way to start with. So well done, Memory. So you can definitely try it out to reach out to some local media, and I think it could be very interesting, like an interview on water purification or local dam, especially if there's something that happened, for example, like a disaster or like maybe a protest of the locals because of the dam, then it can make the story even more actual and interesting. Now we go to Veronica, their Flora Hotel marketing team. So here the same, sometimes it's better to just reach out to one decision maker, because otherwise maybe more people receive the same email, they think the other person will answer. But of course, sometimes you just only have the team department and you don't have any other option. My name is Veronica. Well done. Introduce yourself. I'm the founder of VB Guide Travel. Perfect. So they see already, okay, so it's like a company, right, that they will work with. I will go to Dubai for 10 days. You tell your plan, your mission. I would like to write a travel article review about your hotel and its facilities, both in English and Russian languages. Of course, you even can write in 2 languages. So basically, you want to make like a review of the hotel if it's worth visiting. Would you be interested in collaborating? Let's discuss details. That's good. Awesome. Also, what I would recommend is asking them like, hey, could I stay like 5 days with my team or alone? And in return, I will provide you like a review in travel blog format that will be published on my website, social media channel for exposure, and you can use it for your own channel as well. For example, you can do that way as well by providing like saying basically what you want from them and what you offer to them, right? In a polite way. But in this situation, it's also okay to just basically meet up for a meeting and discuss it further. But I will at least maybe put there also like what you would like from them. For example, free accommodation with free breakfast for like 5 days, for example. I would also recommend to sometimes ask for more days because usually they are totally fine with that. So you can even try instead of like 1 day, you can try 3, 5, 7 days, even 10 days work. Was able to negotiate 10 days. It's quite a lot, 10 days. Okay, the best regards, your name, and yeah, beautiful, like your website as well. So that's also good to put your portfolio. Okay, well done. And then we have here another one. We have located in the Alborz Mountains between Mazandaran and Qazvin in Iran, Abegar Khazar, I don't know if I pronounce it well, is a natural hot spring that offers visitors. Yeah, I pronounced well.
So, sorry. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a very nice pronunciation. But I just wanted to say that I had a kind of feeling with the pitch, just I dealt with the central idea as if to draw the attention of an editor of National Geographic or something to this very special hot spring. So sorry if the format is not with the other people like a letter or email or something.
Oh, no worries. So basically you want to
Just,
make like a sample for the
yeah,
editorial team. That's
yeah.
okay. That's
It
totally
just
fine.
make a very at the spotlight of a very therapeutic hot spring that brings a lot of visitors from different parts of the event world to this. That was the whole. Yeah, sorry if the formatting is not aligned with the other one.
Actually, I'm happy that you also publish it in this format because also like when you write a pitch, a lot of times to bigger magazines, because I talked actually with the editors from National Geographic, in Amsterdam, for example, and also heard like some stories from US as well, and I have also a new event from UK. So it's good to get feedback like directly from their editorial team. So what they usually say, it's good when you pitch to also send a sample of the article. So well done. So that's good. So you write, for example, like the format of Memory and Veronica, like the pitch. And then what you sent out, very well that you put it here, is basically like you can put like it in a document or below the email.
Yes,
And that's
attached.
basically the sample of the article. So you can do 2 ways, or you can send the totally ready article, what they also like. Actually, they're also very happy about because you publish, you send their ready article already, or you can send them like a sample, how the article will look like, and also like information, who you will interview, which place you visit, the cost, the story, and the whole thing. So I'm checking now, like, so okay, it's a natural hot spring that offers visit more than warmth. The hot spring has been used for hundreds of years as a place to heal and cure in a stunning alpine landscape. Oh, that's interesting. So it's more like for healing. Because I heard there are like many like different like hot springs that are very good because of the minerals. The narrative follows how visitors to this remote spa bed in mineral water believed to cure ailments while soaking in virgin beauty nature and traditional mountain village life. So I think that's very interesting. Like if you do a story like that, you can, for example, pitch it to like a local hotel that offers like accommodation to the people that visit those natural springs, right? So you have already maybe a free column that you could stay at that hotel for 5 days. You can even upsell them more articles. You can make an article for like a magazine, right? That writes about that place, even for National Geographic. Um, Let me check. Yeah, with National Geographic, actually, it's interesting. Like they, when I was talking with them, they said actually that most of the people are like, the readers are usually or older millennials or people 50 plus. So that's a bit like their audience. So it's good to know. Only they said actually more like health spas and more that industry of like health travel. So like medical tourism, health spas, that usually they don't publish that often articles. They still do articles about it, but a bit less. But I would say the most popular at the moment in National Geographic, from what I talked with the people there, they said were like national parks and how do you call it, like forest baiting. So like baiting in the forest, that means just walking in the forest, and that it's very healthy for the people. But that's just for the US National Geographic. It's possible that for the UK that they, for example, prefer like medical tourism or like tourists to visit a spas. But it's just good to know ahead if you ever think about publishing it, then maybe it's better to find other media that specialize it more in this niche, for example, because there are many like magazines. But yeah, well done. I really like the story. I really like the story, and I feel like thrilled. Also, I would love actually to visit that spring. It would be very nice because now it's getting cold in the Netherlands. So I
Yeah, you're
think
more than welcome. But just a matter of fact, it is quite a matter of trekking. It's at the height of plus
mhm,
2000 something at the mountain. So accommodation is more kind of rural, very
mhm.
not so. There should be some,
Oh,
yeah, a special tourist. I mean, because it's on the
mhm.
horseback, on the donkey's back,
Oh, but
or
that's
kind
interesting.
of,
Then in that situation, I think then still you could pitch to USA like National Geographic, because you have a tracking involved. So it's
yes,
more like that people need to track and then they get rewarded, like because the audience, they are very like active 50 plus people that like
yeah,
to do trackings, and I
a
don't
sort of
actually
adventure
know.
too, kind of as well. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. But I don't know actually why they don't like articles about medical tourism, because I know in the US it's actually a big thing. So I don't know why they don't like it in National Geographic, but that's at least what the editor said from the US. So maybe other National Geographics not, but for sure there are many magazines also that like feature spas. But I think your story angle is interesting when you say it's a trekking and a spa. You have even like two stories, right? Because there's a whole journey to get there basically, and it's also healthy to do the trekking. Yeah, I think you should definitely like work it out more, and you can make a sample, and yeah, you can try to pitch it somewhere, right? Also to local tourism boards like in Iran can be also interesting. I would just write some ideas where you can tourism boards, you can pitch to PR agencies, right? They're more commercials, non-profit organizations. Maybe they also do like something like tours for people, for example, with disability, or for people that have a serious medical condition, and they help them out, right, to reach those natural springs because of the health. So it can be a non-profit organization, it can be like a local hotel, right, that you can maybe call up with to stay or write an article. It can be a tour agency, can be a local newspaper, travel magazine, and of course, like online websites, right? Online website. So there are many ways, there are many different companies and media that you can pitch to. And the same means also for like Veronica Memory, the same for you, right? You can also like try to reach out to different ones and just see what works. Sometimes you can make even more stories. So I would always recommend, if you go on an expedition, try to like have as many projects around your expedition, right? So If you go to make a story about what I did in Wakachina, the sandboarding, then yeah, it was very nice because I kind of like I went there, right? So I was able to publish it in a magazine and also get paid by adding links to the blog post, right? And publishing it myself. So it was very nice because then I had basically like two different like companies that collaborated with the project. Next time I would also add maybe a collab on the location and maybe make a video for YouTube as well. So there are many ways to like basically monetize it. So well done, everyone. And if you want, you can also like post the pitch in the portal. Okay, so I can give you like again maybe feedback there, or other students can give you feedback. Even if you want, you can for homework. I give you the homework to work the pitch out a little bit, and it doesn't mean it needs to be longer, but you can add to your portfolio. You can check again a bit. Maybe you can make it even shorter or longer. So it depends of you. And the next time during the next masterclass, we can review it again. And if it's perfect, then you can like try to send it out, for example. And you can even just out of curiosity, just send it out to like 10, 20, 30 hotels and just see maybe in your local area, they want to collaborate and you can stay somewhere for a couple nights. So definitely give it a try because I did it one time here in Netherlands as well. We could stay with a group of content creators in Peru, and I did as well. And yeah, I would say they are usually quite enthusiastic about collaborating. So you can give it a try. Yeah, so like personal brand, right? So if you pitch, it's important that people know like, yeah, who are you? Like travel journalist, what do you do? Oh, I write travel blog posts about Peru. Which gear do you use? Yeah, I usually travel with my camera, with my GoPro and drone, for example. Sometimes it helps if you add a picture of yourself and you have your equipment in the hand, then it feels for them also more professional. Like when it's funny because sometimes the phone is already like so powerful, and even if you have a worse camera but it just looks big, the company usually thinks, oh, it's more professional, the big camera. However, nowadays the phones are also quite well, so sometimes yeah, it helps if you have like an equipment which the people think like it's more professional. For example, if I have a microphone like this, right, even if I have a microphone my phone that's better, for example, then still people think, oh, this is more professional when I with this microphone, right? So that's also a bit a technique with pitching. So you can sometimes add a picture of yourself with your equipment. And if you make the content, you can still do it with your phone. So it's totally fine, especially for social media. Your niche, right? So for me, for example, Peru as destination and culture, a unique signature. So unique signature is actually something very important. So here's a Polish like travel journalist that I'm a big fan of her, like Martyna Wojciechowska. She made a travel reportage about protecting the albino children in, I think was in South Africa, but I'm not sure about which country exactly. So it was about that some local people used to hunt down like albino children to use their body parts for like they had some beliefs like with witchcraft. So it was somewhere in some villages, and she was actually like an activist. She went to like a local refugee center for the albino children, and she adopted like a girl called Kabula that she lost her arm because probably the neighbors or someone cut it off to sell it on the black market. And yeah, she became like because of that story, like more people heard from her, and she had also many other stories. And but she won, I think, an award of that because she really like, next to travel journalist, she also is like an activist, and she tells actually stories about challenges of a woman around the globe. So she travels around the globe and talks with local women that have certain challenges. So she did also like it was also like a story in Bolivia. I went there also. So it's about forgot the name. There's like a sport where you see women in dresses and they fight with each other, like the cholitas, they are called, like the women from the countryside. So she made also a story about that, and yeah, many different stories as well. So it's quite interesting. So it's her unique signature that she writes stories about women with challenges, right? And also her niche. Another travel journalist with a unique signature, it's also from Poland, actually, Wojciech Cejrowski. I mentioned those two because I think they have both like very unique signatures. So he, for example, like travels like barefoot on videos often. So that means like it's already quite, yeah, viral, interesting. Like this guy walks barefoot on the airport, for example. So that's how he made his signature. I would call it also a bit a media stunt, right? And the other thing, what he has a very like, I would say he has a very, he's very direct, I would say, when he makes interviews with people. So he really asks what he wants to ask. And even for me, I would say he is even a bit too direct sometimes, but that's also a bit his style. And that's why also a lot of people like to watch him as well. So that's also his signature and personality. And the third thing is actually this. I copied a little bit from him. It's like a calabash, also called yeah, like calabash for like drinking like yerba mate. So it's basically like a bombilla, like a straw, calabash, and I think somewhere like I'm not sure if it was Ecuador or Guatemala. I know in Argentina they drink it a lot, but somewhere in those countries, people drink like yerba mate, and it's like a cultural thing. So they walk often with it in the hand, and he really liked it. So he also like always like when he takes a picture or something, it's always that yerba mate with him, and he sells it also on his website. So yeah, it's also like a bit a commercial thing. So it's a good example of like a good signature as a travel journalist. What makes you unique than other people, than other journalists? So he walks barefoot, has a very direct character. He has his yerba mate, and he also like dresses often with those kind of holiday t-shirts. So that's his style, and many people follow him in Poland. So yeah, another thing what you can do is you can make an about page about yourself to show your brand. So for example, here I'm introducing myself like, hey, I'm Igor, I'm a travel journalist, certified by National Geographic, published in Columbus magazine. And then I talk about my mission. Okay, my mission is to empower travel content creators to make a local impact with storytelling, right? So to help people create stories. So to help travel content creators become a travel journalist, to tell local stories with impact. And then I tell a little bit about my business, the Travel Media Academy, right? And below I say a little bit the achievements. So that's for credibility. So people know like, okay, what you achieved, what you did. You can add like logos from companies you worked with. So there are many different ways. So yeah, that's like an example from like about. And as you want, you can also make an about for yourself. So it can be on YouTube, can be on your website, and you can just feature your mission, vision, experience, your offer. So you offer maybe SEO blog posts, maybe editing videos or designing websites, can be a lot of different things, doing interviews, and your credibility. So credibility can be like a certificate, for example. So if you complete the whole program, it's actually very nice. If you make your final project on a trip abroad, then I also give you like from the Travel Media Academy, like a certificate, so you can put it on your website. So this one I got from National Geographic of like also master classes that I did there. See like a question. Let me check. Oh, okay. That's like from memory. Thank you so much for this session. Very informative. Yeah, you're welcome, memory. You're welcome. Yeah, we'll be doing like 5 minutes more and we are closing the session because it's quite late. We started a bit later also. So yeah, like try to think about your about, right? So it can be LinkedIn, it can be your blog, and try to think about your offer as well, right? Especially in a page, like what do you offer, right? What's your service or your product? So here you can see a lot of ideas of what you can offer. I will not mention everything, but for travel journalists, very common is doing interviews. You can do soft or hard news articles. Hard news articles are very like actual, like let's say there was like some protests at Machu Picchu in Peru, you can make an article about it. And later you write a whole travel reportage about the local people living close to Machu Picchu, for example. You can write from your personal opinion. You can make more like investigative piece of content, multimedia reportage, that means writing, photography, and video. You can focus more on tourist companies with content marketing, making even write ads for them, short form reels you can edit, you can make long form YouTube documentaries, edit videos, you can translate websites, you can write SEO blog posts, email newsletters, PR articles, go on press trips, and even also like edit thumbnails, or for example, give even media training to politicians and companies. You can imagine how big the travel journalist industry is, because yeah, you can also like even train politicians, right? How they can engage with journalists in general, or tourist companies, how they can engage in situations of crisis with journalists. If something happened, maybe a natural disaster and the tourist industry stopped, then you can basically provide training to the local, to the company, right? How they can respond to the questions of journalists. So that's also possible. So yeah, there are many ways, right, that you can offer something. It's about building your portfolio. So this is the last part of our session today. Here you can see different ways. You can have a website or a travel blog. So website is basically just what you show your about, your contact information. A travel blog is that you really publish content, right? So a travel blog is on a website actually. Travel channel on YouTube, a podcast where you interview people, social media with your pictures, stories, LinkedIn, more professional to interact with people. Media kits, that's the easiest one. You can even make it today in 1 hour. I have actually like a link to Canva where you can just go there, you have a template and make your own media kit. So basically showcase your experience, your exposure, your followers, who you are and what you offer. So here you can see like Christian LeBlanc, he's like from Lost Creator Academy, one of the bigger travel YouTubers in the industry. As you can see, he has more like a page, a sales page on his website where he promotes his academy and talks about his story. So he doesn't have a blog, but he focuses more on the website and contact and a sales page to sell his academy. Have Nomadic Mats. He's one of the first digital nomads that became very famous in New York Times, and also one of the first travel bloggers. And he writes content about budget travel, and had one time a session with him, a coaching session. And he also gave me like some information how you can focus more on developing your niche with your travel blog, where you should be more aware of. So he's also like a big name in the travel blogging industry. And here you can see like he has an about page. So he talks about who he is, what his achievements are. Also like that he is an author, so he promotes his book, right? $75 a day. And here you can see that what kind of questions he answers, right? So you have a picture as well, so you know who he is. His pictures, I think, in Amsterdam, from what I see. He is from, I think, Texas, I'm not sure, from the US. So that's an example of a travel blog, and he has a blog, and you can read all his content and find it on Google. Eva Zubek, she has a YouTube travel channel, also with National Geographic, and you can see an example of her Instagram profile, so you can see some featured stories. Mark Wiens, he's a food travel blogger and travel YouTuber. I would call him also like a travel journalist, because he really captures well like the stories abroad about different food destinations. So you can also, if you're not into writing as a travel journalist, that's also totally fine. You can like, for example, make only your travel channel in video format, and your website can be also in video format. If you like more writing, then you can do more in nomadic med style. That means like you put more like books that you sell, courses, like blogs, right? The stories. And if you are more into social media, short form content, like more the attention fast content, you can make it more in this style, your portfolio. And the last one is here, you can see an example of a media kit. So that's the easiest one, the fastest one to create. So it's basically like a template, right? That you can find on Canva. If you go to canva.com and you type in media kit, you can see many templates, and you can just delete the text and put your own name, put your services that you offer, how much followings you have, and your contact information, right? So here you can see about, offer, equipment, references, and exposure. So yeah, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed the masterclass. I will upload the recording, and as homework is to basically, with the media kit, we'll work also like further. You can make it as well if you want. But for now, the homework is to make your pitch, right? So we can check the next session. I can give you feedback, and then you can also upload it in the portal to get feedback from other students. And yeah, hopefully you can send it out and get your first collab or publication, or maybe even a paid job. So please let me know how it goes, and please upload it in the portal, okay? Your homework. So it's making your pitch. So I hope you all enjoyed. I will stop the recording and see you like next week.